Okay, so I had this strange thing happen that I've noticed happen before, and I want to share it here so it might help you too. So I walked into this environment and I was totally fine, completely good with life. And while I was there, this black cloud of depression just seemed to overcome me. And I'm self-aware enough to know that there is something in this environment that must be causing this. And in this particular case, I could sense it was something about this TV that was in the background. It was playing sitcoms like WGN style, old school. And if you've been here a while, you know that I'm focused on brainwave entrainment, and a lot of my content is helping you use and understand your own brainwaves and consciousness in particular. And so later I'm researching this, and this is so interesting. This is what I found. So old televisions, especially CRTs, have this 60 hertz flicker, which is the same frequency as the US electrical grid. And you don't consciously see this or hear it, but your nervous system does. Fluorescent lights actually flicker at the same rate, so they also are at the 60 hertz. And there's this thing called photic driving, which is the brain's natural tendency to synchronize its electrical activity, which are our brain waves, with the frequency of some external visual stimuli, such as the flashing or the flickering lights. So here's why that matters. Your brain's calm state, typically alpha waves or theta as well, are 8 to 12 hertz, and they get disrupted by the 60 hertz hum and flicker. And when alpha is suppressed, you lose that emotional buffer, that natural emotional buffer. And instead of being relaxed and present, you're then nudged into this low-level agitation or this empty feeling. And then you add in the fact that some environments actually carry what's called infrasound vibrations. It's below human hearing. It's something like 19 hertz. We don't really know for sure without testing it which environment has it, of course, but that can be a factor too. And studies have actually linked feelings of dread and sadness to this hertz. So it's a perfect storm for a mood drop if you're in an environment that would have both, but even just the 60 hertz. And sensitive nervous systems like mine pick this up even stronger. So when you walk into a room thinking you're fine, the invisible environment is actually working on your brain, so it can be working against you. And now we're not done. Keep listening here. So now we layer on psychology. So now on the TV, you have sitcoms playing, and sitcoms are engineered around canned laughs, so like laugh tracks, right? And it tricks the brain into thinking that you're in a group environment, and it makes the show seem funnier with the laugh track, and your body hears community. But then here's the catch. Your subconscious hears that tribe and then realizes that you're not actually a part of it. You're not part of that community. So there's this gap between this artificial belonging that's on screen and your real environment, and this can trigger a sudden feeling of loneliness. And sitcoms in particular, they are replaying that perfect family ideal or relationship ideal. Night after night, decade after decade, we've seen this on television is what it's sold us. It shows us what happiness should look like. If your brain or if your mind sees that your life doesn't look like that, your subconscious in particular takes note. So you pair the alpha suppression from the flicker with that illusion of belonging from the laugh tracks, and you've got this kind of perfect storm or recipe for exactly what I felt, which is a heavy, sudden wave of isolation and just depression. So there's more to it. This gets darker. That 60 hertz flicker, it wasn't actually designed on purpose to control you. It was just part of the engineering standard. But once advertisers and media psychologists realized what TV did to the nervous system, they capitalized on it. They used it. That was nice of them, huh? So think about it. That 60 hertz disrupts alpha. So you're restless and more suggestible. And then the sitcoms and the ads, they simulate this belonging, but subconsciously you feel the gap. And then you've got commercials, which step in to offer you the solution. Buy this and you'll feel better. You'll feel more complete. You'll feel part of the crowd. And this is what's called engineered dissatisfaction. Marketing research shows that people buy more when they feel slightly incomplete. And TV became the perfect delivery system for that. So this mild trance, this low resilience, and this constant consumer triggers. So this makes you think a lot more about what you're watching and why you're watching it, what it was engineered for. It was not engineered just for your entertainment, and maybe not at all for your entertainment, actually. So while no one actually sat in a lab initially saying, let's shoot depression at people and this state of restlessness and this emptiness that the TV created, it was absolutely exploited. And for me, this hits harder because I'm sensitive to sound and frequency. I've had vestibular issues, and I notice things that other people might tune out. So for someone else, it might just feel like mild fatigue, or they might leave the environment craving coffee or comfort food, and they might not realize why. But I think a lot of people do feel it. They just don't connect the dots between the environment. The TV, the lights, the hum, there would have been another flicker from the fluorescent lights above too. And then there's this sudden dip in mood that you don't really realize what it's coming from. And here's the thing. Here's what you can do about it. So what can you actually do when this is happening, when you feel this happening? Of course, you can step outside the field. You can step outside, in fresh air, for example. You can move where you're sitting. You can be further away from lights or a TV or, something. You can do some breath work. So some kind of breath reset where maybe you do like a 4-second inhale, 6-second exhale, and for 2 to 3 minutes. And this helps bring back you into alpha. You can ask for, if it's a TV, you can ask for the TV to be muted. Then there are things like earplugs or earbuds where you can actually, listen to something to block that environmental hum. So you can listen to pink noise, which helps the brain stabilize. And then sunlight, of course, getting out in the sunlight every day helps to just reset your brain rhythms. And when you're at home, having flicker-free environments, so you can choose displays that are labeled flicker-free. Most modern screens do not have 120 hertz or 60 hertz. They have devices that are 120 or higher, so they have less of the flicker. But it still can affect you, of course. You can have intentional soundscapes, so replacing that background TV with gentle music or alpha tones, because you're in charge of the atmosphere that you live in. You can do somatic discharge, where when you leave a heavy environment, you can literally shake your body to clear that entrainment. But the most important one I want to bring up is awareness. And that's what I did and what I'm hoping that you can learn to do. So the minute that you recognize this sadness isn't mine, it's the room, you've already broken the spell. This tells you this isn't about me. This isn't something that, I really shouldn't be depressed and I can do something about it. I can get out of the environment and actually do, some things to break this. Consciousness is always going to trump conditioning, thankfully. And so, no, you're not imagining it. If you ever feel that way, if you ever feel that you're drained or you're lonely in certain environments, it could just be the environment. And there really is this mix of frequency, hum, and psychology that's happening all around us that nudges our brain into certain states. And the good news is that once you notice it, you don't have to stay there. You can reset, reclaim that field, and remember that your state is yours, because conditioning is absolutely everywhere, unfortunately. But awareness is our off switch.